Hi, my name is Peggy, and this is my channel, Bespoke Ability Sewing. This is my 43rd episode, and today is Friday, so it is another episode of Friday Sews. Friday Sews is a hashtag that was created by Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room as a way to bring the sewing community together. So thank you, Jen, and thank you for joining me. Okay, let's get started. Well, I finished 4 things in my sewing room this week, and none of them were Pietras. Shock horror. These were all from patterns that I've used before. Last week, I made Simplicity 8752, which is an out-of-print pattern for knit tops, and I made a top that I wasn't wild about. And I was getting ready to pack it away when I thought, well, it was too big on me as a knit top, but maybe I could do my original idea, which was to make it out of Rayon challis. I thought, might as well give it a try. So the only thing I was a little concerned about was where the arm came in, but I made a muslin of the sleeve and it was fine. So all systems go. I did make 2 additional changes. I had already made some last week, but this week I added an inch in length right around the bust apex, and I had drew facings for the neck because it calls for a neckband for the knit version, but I didn't want that. And I interfaced those and it worked out just fine. So for this version, I used a Rayon challis from my stash. I think I bought it at Minerva, but I didn't write it down, but I think I did. I went through, or periodically I go through phases of snapping up paisley prints in fabrications that I like and in colors that I like, because I love paisley, and sometimes it's hard to find and sometimes it's not. This was one of those cases where I saw it, I didn't have a plan, but I snapped it up. So if it was Minerva, I suppose it was viscose, not rayon. So this sewed up very easily. I did everything on my sewing machine, finished all seams on my serger, and I used my cover stitch to hem it, which I don't, sometimes I use for wovens, but not that often, and I mean, it worked out just fine. And the verdict, I like this a lot better than the knit version, so I could see making this again in Rayon challis. Here's that I'm showing you of my new top. I'm wearing it with my highly versatile pink Pietras that I made several weeks ago. I swear those pants go with so many things, and I really love them, and they're comfortable. So that was great. Now, as far as the style of this shirt, I really like it because sometimes I want to have a more slouchy look, and this gives a slouchy feel, but the waist ties help it from being too boxy and too baggy, and I like the combination, so I can see doing this again. This is the first week in a while that I haven't made any Pietras, but I did make 2 more t-shirts for my grandson, once again using the ABB or anything but basic t-shirt, and I'll link that below. It's a free pattern with quite a good size range, and I made it from 2 fabrics that I thought he would like. So my grandson likes vehicles and he likes trailers. You might call them campers or caravans, but he calls it a trailer. So knitfabric.com had a fabric, I'd say it's an ivory background with some sort of muted colored trailers all over it. And I thought it would be perfect for a t-shirt, and I think it was, and I'll put up a photo. And then the second fabric is from the Purple Seamstress. Now, I had never heard of the Purple Seamstress before, but Tiffany on Who's Your Handmade mentioned it, and I thought I'd go check it out. And so they sell a lot of different fabrications, but they also do printing and custom printing. And a lot of their custom designs are for sale. And this was one of the custom designs. It had Baby Shark on it. And if you're around toddlers at all, you're probably aware of the Baby Shark song, which my grandson loves. And there's a little video on YouTube. It's about 2 minutes. And it's Baby Shark and Mama Shark and Daddy Shark and Grandma and Grandpa Shark. And at any rate, it's the same characters on this fabric. Now, there's also Nike on this fabric. I don't know why, but it was a custom print, so maybe it was for reasons that I just don't know. But I didn't think my grandson would care about that, but he would like the Baby Shark, and he does. So that was a success. So I made these just like before. I reinforced the back shoulders. Oh, I should say that on the Simplicity top in Chalet, I reinforced the back shoulders on that too. I was just afraid it might be a little too floppy, but it seems fine. So I sewed these t-shirts for my grandson completely on the serger, except for the hems, which I did on the cover stitch. So they were quick, they were easy, and they look cute. I don't have any photos of him in them, but he has them. The other thing I made this week has sort of left a bad taste in my mouth. It was the Hudson pants from True Bias. I had made these, I had made one pair for my son-in-law for Christmas a couple years ago in the men's version, and then I made the women's version for my daughter a couple weeks ago in a navy blue cotton spandex jersey, and she really liked them and wanted another pair. So I gave her the choice of either black or gray, because I had those cotton jerseys in my stash, and she chose black. But I know eventually I want to make her a gray pair too. So now, nothing wrong with the pattern. So the bad taste in my mouth has nothing to do with the pattern. I think it has to do with me. So a couple weeks ago, I bought a table press from Cam Snaps. I want to use it for snaps, but another thing I want to use it for is grommets. And I thought the addition of grommets to the waistband would be great, because like the first pair I made my daughter, I put in buttonholes, and then I threaded a drawstring through those. And that's what the pattern calls for. But I thought, oh, grommets would be fun and would look professional and all that. So foolish mistake number one, I cut out the waistbands. I cut out a waistband in black for the current pair, and I cut out a waistband in gray, figuring I might as well get it all done at once. And now, for my first try, I should have used scrap fabric. I don't know what I was thinking, or I wasn't thinking, but cockeyed is probably the best word. I'll try and put up a photo. Oh, I should also say I saw a video on Christine Sews a Lot. She did a review of the Cam table press and the die and the various attachments, and so I will link that video below. Well, so I did it, and then I thought, okay, I have enough fabric, I should cut out another waistband and do it again. So I cut it out, and this is foolish mistake, at least number two. At this point, I had the table press sitting on my floor, and I sat on the floor. It was late at night, and I put in the hole punch die and did it. And then I put in the grommets, and the hole was too big for the grommets, so it was coming apart. I don't know if I wiggled the fabric or I don't know what. But finally I decided, okay, just put it away for right now. Wait until the morning when you're fresh, when there's sunlight, and put the table press on the table and, just take your time. So that's what I did. The next morning I put it on my dining room table, and I didn't need to cut the holes because I'd already cut the holes, but I was hoping I could manipulate the fabric enough that I could get the grommets on. And it looked like I did. Okay, then I sewed up the Hudson pants, mostly on my serger, but a few things I did on my machine, like I machine basted the pocket detail, and I actually did the whole, no I didn't. So I did the pocket detail and I serged the pocket, but then I also basted the pocket to the side seam and to the top, to the waistband seam. I also eventually basted the waistband on before I put it in the elastic. So I got to the point where I had everything essentially made. I put elastic through the waistband and finished that up. I serged the waistband, and then it calls for you to top stitch the waistband at 5/8 of an inch down and I think 1 1/4 inch down, and that borders the grommets. So I did that. Okay, you're saying, what was wrong? Sounds great. And it was, except after I finished the top stitching, I realized that the grommets had fallen off in the waistband. I don't know why. I do not know if it was user error, which it probably was, or I just don't know. So then the question was, well, what do? I have these pants completely done, and the elastic was in, everything was top stitched and serged. I'd serged away the seam allowance. So this was not a good solution, what I did. And I'll preface this by saying I told my daughter what I did and that I don't expect these pants to last, and I'd be happy to make her a replacement pair. So what I did, which I now realize was stupid, I took the pants and the finished waistband, the finished pants, back to the table press, and I pressed a hole in, or 2 holes in the elastic, and then I installed the grommets again. Well, I can't then thread the elastic through this because the grommets, before they were just on the front facing side of the waistband. Now they were all the way through, so you couldn't put the drawstring all the way through. But as luck would have it, if you call it that, the grommet was again too small for the hole, so the fabric was pulling away. So I was able to thread the drawstring through, and I knew this wasn't a good solution. It's temporary at best. And I may have already put up a photo. If not, I'll put it up now. I don't have a picture of my daughter in them. I just gave them to her, but I did take a picture of them. So that's why I say this left a bad taste in my mouth. I had really hoped to be using the grommets. Now, I can think of at least one thing I did wrong. And this is what happens when you don't read the instructions. But the instructions tell you to put a piece of interfacing on the fabric before you do the buttonholes. And that probably would have helped with the grommets too. But I tell you, I'm leery to put more grommets in a waistband if maybe it's the type of the fabric. Like maybe if I were doing it in a sweatshirt knit, that would be sturdy enough to hold everything. I don't know. But I will make more Hudsons for my daughter, but I think I'll go back to putting in the buttonholes. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. That was everything I sewed this week. And I didn't do a whole lot and like socially, but I did go to a very casual get together and a picnic, and I chose that as my favorite outfit of the week. So I wore jeans, and then with it I wore the Liesl & Co. Classic shirt out of a spring green cotton, and then I wore it with a sweater knit that just happened to match. I bought them at two separate places at two separate times, but it's also in a spring green, and it's Quick Sew 3740. It's just a sleeveless shell, but I wore it under the classic shirt, and it was comfortable and it was cool and just right for what I was doing. So that's this week's favorite outfit. I had been hoping to make a pair of shorts for my grandson this past week, but I just didn't get to it. So I think I'll try and do that this week. And I also have some fabric with watermelon slices on it. And I don't know if you're aware of the So Fruity 24 challenge on Instagram. And I believe that starts in June. So I think I'll try and sew up something out of that fabric, and I'm sure I'll make myself something else. And who knows, I might bite the bullet and make another pair of Hudsons, get back up on that horse. So I think that's it for me this week. Coming to you a little bit later on Friday than I usually do, but I've been busy. So, any rate, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for coming back. I really appreciate it, and I will see you next time. Bye.